Hello students, welcome to this video lecture in which we will be discussing how to analyze any propped cantilever beam, where we will study how to analyze a propped cantilever beam by using strain energy method. Now here we can see, here we have this propped cantilever beam AB, where one end of this beam is fixed and its other end there is a roller support, and we have to analyze this propped cantilever beam by using concept of strain energy method, where we have to use concept of strain energy stored in the body or in the beam, and we have to also discuss what is Castigliano's theorem. Now using Castigliano's theorem and concept of strain energy, we have to analyze this propped cantilever beam. Now in engineering mechanics, we have studied cantilever beam whose one end is fixed and its other end will be free. Now using equations of equilibrium, that is equations of static equilibrium, we can easily calculate, we can easily find the reactions and support moments in case of a cantilever beam. Just by using summation f of x, summation f of y and summation of moment, we can easily find out the unknown reaction components and unknown support moments. But in case of a propped cantilever beam, when we see the respective reaction components and support moments, we find that it is statically indeterminate beam. So using equations of static equilibrium alone, we cannot find out those reactions and support moments. Hence we need to study one method that is called as a strain energy method. So by using strain energy method, we can find out those respective reactions and support moments, and then we can draw its bending moment diagram and shear force diagram. Now let us see how we can analyze it. Now first of all, if you see this propped cantilever, here we have at A there is a fixed end, and at this fixed end we know that there will be one vertical reaction, that is RA, and this support moment, that is MA. Let us assume this support moment as in anticlockwise direction, and here this vertical reaction RA. Now at B we know that this is a roller support. Now to the roller support it will be offering one vertical reaction, that is RB. Now this given propped cantilever beam is subjected to one point load, that is capital W, exactly at its center. Now first of all we need to check its degree of static indeterminacy. Now how to check the degree of static indeterminacy for this given propped cantilever? For that we need to first find out the unknown reaction components. Now here if we see, we have neglected the horizontal reaction at A, and at B there is a roller support, so there is no any issue about the horizontal reaction, but at A we have neglected the horizontal reaction at A. The reason is that if the given cantilever beam, if you see here, it is subjected to purely vertical loading. So if there is no any load in horizontal direction, there will not be any reaction in horizontal reaction. So we are neglecting the horizontal reaction. So as we are neglecting the horizontal reaction, also we need to ignore the summation of f of x is equal to 0 equation. Means sum of all forces in x direction, that is summation f of x is equal to 0, we need to ignore this equation. So when we find the degree of static indeterminacy for this given propped cantilever, we need to first of all find out the number of unknown reaction components. Now in this case the number of unknown reaction components are here RA, RB and the support moment MA. Therefore when we find this degree of static indeterminacy for this given beam, here number of unknown reaction components are 3, and number of available equations we need to consider only 2, that is summation f of y is equal to 0 and summation of moment about any point is equal to 0. As initially I discussed that whatever horizontal external reactions we are neglecting, means we need to neglect summation f of x is equal to 0 in this case. So here we initially calculated that its degree of static indeterminacy is equal to 1 in this case. Now for strain energy method we should know that what is basically redundant. Now in this example we will be discussing what is redundant. Now here if you see, the degree of static indeterminacy for this given example is 1. Means what? If I remove this particular action or if I remove this particular unknown, the structure becomes statically determinate. For example, in this particular case here, if I neglect this vertical reaction at B, that is if I neglect this RB, if I remove this RB, what happens? It is just like a regular cantilever beam. So if it is just like a regular cantilever beam, by using equations of equilibrium you can solve it. So basically what is redundant? We need to select one unknown which we can say it as a redundant. So here we need to select first redundant. Now what is redundant? Here if I select RB as a redundant, only two unknowns remains, that is RA and MA, and we can easily solve the example. Okay, so first of all we will select RB as redundant. Therefore here we'll see redundant is equal to RB. Now we know that it is upward. So afterwards, instead of using RB, we'll use a term that is R. So in this diagram also, we can say here it is R. We can say it is R. Okay. Now after selecting this redundant RB, afterwards we have to discuss about what is Castigliano's theorem. Now we know that Castigliano's theorem, partial derivative of strain energy with respect to redundant or with respect to the applied force gives the respective displacement. Here in this case we need to apply the strain energy concept in or at support B, where we have to apply the partial derivative of total strain energy with respect to the applied force. Here applied force is nothing but the reaction, so dA by U by dA by R gives the displacement as a delta. As we know that this redundant offers this support, basically means at this support the deflection will be 0. So here we can say that this dA by U by dA by R is equal to delta, that is equal to 0 in this case. Now when we replace this value of U, that is total strain energy stored in a member, in case of a flexural member like in case of a beam, when we put it in terms of its bending moment, then we get this equation that 1 upon EI integration mx into dA by mx by dA by R is equal to 0 in this case. So therefore here we need to integrate this as 1 upon EI integration mx into dA by mx by dA by R with respect to dx is equal to 0 in this case. So now if we see this particular equation, 1 upon EI integration mx into dA by mx by dA by R with respect to dx, first of all we need to find mx. Now what is mx? Mx is nothing but the bending moment at a section, and then we can take the partial derivative of this bending moment or equation of a bending moment with respect to the redundant, and then by putting the limits we can solve it. So what happens here, if you see, this equation will consist a term that is R. So we get one equation in terms of R, and then we can find out the value of this redundant or value of the reaction. Okay, so for that, to get this mx, that is bending moment at section X, here if you see this diagram, here it consists two spans, span AC and span CB. Now we need to select these two spans separately. The reason is that if you see at a point C, there is a point load. So means when you move from B to A or from A to B, there is change in loading. If there is change in loading, we need to consider the span separately for calculation of bending moment at section XX. Means if you select only or whole span AB, in that case equation of bending moment will be varying because of this point load W. Hence we will select now two spans, the first one span AC and the second one span CB. So span AC and span CB separately. Now here in this case, for span AC you can consider origin as C, and for span CB you can consider origin as B. Now we need to select this origin as per our convenience. You can select any point. Basically try to get the point on right hand side instead of left hand side, because we are interested to get the equation in terms of the redundant. As here our redundant is on right hand side, hence we will consider right hand side for it. Okay, so therefore now first we will solve mx for span CB and then we will solve it for AC. Okay, so now limits for span AC is 0 to L by 2 and for CB is again 0 to L by 2. Now let us focus on the second span, that is CB. For that we need to take one section XX. Here I take section XX whose distance from right end is x. Now by considering the right hand side of this section, we have to first find out the equation of bending moment for span CB. So for span CB, you consider the right hand side and take the bending moment at section XX. So it is R multiplied by X. R multiplied by X. Now it will be creating sagging bending. So here it is plus Rx. And when you take its partial derivative of this mx with respect to r, you will be getting it as plus x. You will be getting it as plus x. Now for span AC, now when we consider span AC, take a section XX. Again you consider its distance. Now here to consider its distance, see our origin, it is C. So the distance from point C is x in this case. Okay, now afterwards also to get this mx, that is bending moment at section XX, consider the right hand side of this section. So here on right hand side we have this redundant R and this point load W. Therefore starting from moment of this redundant to get mx, R multiplied by this distance of this R from section XX, here it is x plus L by 2. So R into x plus L by 2. It is creating sagging bending, so plus R into x plus L by 2, and bending moment of this W into x, it will be creating hogging bending, hence minus. Now when you take partial derivative of this equation with respect to the redundant, here we get it as x plus L by 2. So this is the way to calculate mx and dabba mx by dabba r separately for span CB and for span AC. Instead of this, for example, if this cantilever beam is subjected to uniformly distributed load, in this case what will happen? The change in load will not be there, means the loading will be uniform in that case. If the loading is uniform in this case, in that case only you need to consider one span. But here there is change in loading at a point C, hence we have selected two spans separately, their origin separately, their limits separately, and their equation of mx and dabba mx by dabba r separately. Now we can use this equation, that is 1 upon EI into integration mx into dabba mx by dabba r with respect to dx is equal to 0. For example, if value of I or value of EI is different as per the length of the given beam, then you need to select this EI separately for that particular span. But here you can see there is no any significance of I, means I is same throughout. If it is not mentioned in the example, then you can take it on right hand side and it will become 0 in that case. Now let us just put value of mx and dabba mx by dabba r in this particular equation. So for first span, that is AC, we'll put the equation. EI already we have taken it on right hand side, so there will not be an issue. So integration, the limits are 0 to L by 2. Now for first span, that is span AC, here it is R into x plus L by 2 minus Wx multiplied by x plus L by 2. So the first term, that is R into x plus L by 2 minus Wx multiplied by x plus L by 2 with respect to dx, plus now for second span, that is span CB, Rx multiplied by x. So therefore Rx multiplied by x integration from 0 to L by 2 with respect to dx, addition of this will become 0 in this case. Now what happens when you will integrate this equation, and when you put the limits here, that is 0 to L by 2 for both spans, you will be getting one equation of R. So therefore when you will solve this, you will be getting finally R is equal to, now when you solve all these steps in detail, here you will be getting R as 5W upon 16. Here it is 5W upon 16. Here you will be getting plus sign, means it is upward in this case. Means our assumption or assumed direction of R will be same, hence it is upward. Here you can say it as RB. Now just see this example. Here RB we have calculated using strain energy method. Now if you just see this RB, which is known in this case, if you put here, or if you say here RB is equal to 5W upon 16, now we can use equations of equilibrium, that is summation f of y is equal to 0 and summation of moment about any point is equal to 0. So we have, or we left only two unknowns, that is RA, here we can see RA and MA. So RA and MA we can find out using conditions of equilibrium, that is summation f of y is equal to 0 and summation of moment about a point is equal to 0. When we solve this, here we can see, or we can find out that RA will be equal to 11 by 16 into W, and here RA will be also upward, and MA will be equal to 3W upon 16, and it will be anti-clockwise in this case. So using conditions of equilibrium we can find out this RA and MA. Now if you see, RB is known to us, RA is known to us, and support moment MA is also known to us. Now once we find out those unknown things, we can easily draw its bending moment diagram. So let us see now how we can draw the bending moment diagram. Now here we will directly find this bending moment diagram. Value of bending moment at B, it will be exactly 0, as we are taking bending moment exactly at a point B, it will be 0. Now when we will find bending moment at a point C, here we need to consider 5W divided by 16 multiplied by L by 2. So here we get it as 5W divided by 32. So this is the bending moment at a point C. And finally, what will be bending moment at a point A? Bending moment at a point A will be nothing but equal to MA. But now here we know that bending moment at A is nothing but this support moment MA, that is 3W upon 16. As it is anti-clockwise, it will be creating hogging bending. Otherwise, you can take the calculation considering the right hand side, you will be getting the same value, that is 3W by 16 in this case. Therefore, we can plot here in negative direction, and we can join these 3 points. So here we can join it like this. This is plus, this is minus. So here we have this bending moment diagram for this given propped cantilever beam. Now after getting this bending moment diagram for a propped cantilever beam for a given type of loading, we can draw easily the shear force diagram. So let us directly draw the shear force diagram. So here we have shear force at B. Initially it will be minus 5W divided by 16. Now when you move from this B to C here, there is no any change in load, so it remains same till point C. So you can join it by a parallel line. Here it is minus, and afterwards we can see there is a point load. So at point load we get two values of shear forces. One will be just right of point C, second will be just left of point C. Just right of point C, the value is 5W by 16, and to just left of C, here we'll find, when we do the calculation, here you will be getting it as 11W divided by 16. Therefore we can join these 2 points, and afterwards it remains same when you move towards point A, 11W divided by 16. Now we have to join these 2 points again by a parallel line. As there is no any load between point A and C, we need to join it by a parallel line. So here it is plus and here it is minus. So we get it the respective shear force diagram for this case. So in this way we can draw the shear force diagram once we are able to find out the reaction at B, reaction at A. When we find the support moment at A, then we can draw the bending moment diagram. And initially if we see, we have used concept of strain energy. We have studied the concept of redundant. By using RB as a redundant, we can get the equation of mx, that is equation of a bending moment at section xx. We can take its partial derivative, that is dia by mx by dia by r, considering two spans separately, span AC and span CB. As if there is change in load, we need to select the span according to the given type of loading. If the loading is same throughout, like uniformly distributed load, then we don't need to take multiple spans. Within a single span, we can get the equation of a bending moment. Then we can get the equation of dia by mx by dia by r, and then by using this equation we can easily find out the unknown things. Here if you see the number of unknowns or number of redundant initially, here it was 1. So when we have a propped cantilever beam, everywhere we can find that in most of cases when we have vertical loading, in that case here we will have this roller support or a hinge support. In this case it will be offering only one reaction. So if it is offering only one reaction, the problem will be restricting only up to the redundant equals to 1 in this case. For example, instead of a propped cantilever, if we have a fixed beam, then we need to increase the redundant or number of redundant. In that case, this degree of static indeterminacy will be more than 1, it will be 2, it will be 3, depends on the support condition. If we have a continuous beam, again the number of redundant will be increasing, and accordingly whatever number of redundants we have, that much number of equation we need to develop. Here in this case we have developed only one equation, but as our redundant or number of redundant will be increasing, in that case we need to increase those additional equation, we need to solve those additional equations, and then we can find out the number of redundant first, means number of unknowns in terms of the redundant. Once we find those redundant, then we can find out the remaining unknowns using conditions of equilibrium, and after getting all the unknowns, all the unknown reaction components and support moments, finally we can easily draw their respective bending moments diagram and respective shear force diagram. I hope you have understood in this video how we can analyze any propped cantilever beam when it is subjected to a point load, when it is subjected to uniformly distributed load. Thank you. I hope you have understood how to analyze a propped cantilever beam using a strain energy method. Now in this case it was subjected to a point load at its center, but in case of a uniformly distributed load, for example this propped cantilever is subjected to uniformly distributed load, then also we can easily analyze it using this strain energy method.
It may be a combination of a uniformly distributed load and a point load, or it may be a combination of uniformly distributed load with a point load or with the applied couple. In all the combinations of this type of loading, just by considering the spans differently, as I told you initially that if there is change in the loading, from when we move from left end to the right end or from right end to the left end of the beam, if there is change in the loading, as per that we need to select the number of spans, we need to find out the respective bending moment at section XX for those spans separately, then we need to take the partial derivative separately, and then we can just combine all the results in this particular equation and we will be getting those additional equations. In the same way we can analyze a prop cantilever, a fixed beam and also a continuous beam. Thank you.